Hey guys, thanks for joining us here on the sideline. I'm Mark Abbott. I'm your host. I'm joined here by
Zack and Scott, and we're here for our last preseason episode of the Blitz.
So the big news this week is it is week one of college football. It was actually week one last week, but Zack thinks it was week 0, but it was week one. So this is the extension of week one, and we're excited about college football because that's we live and breathe college football. So today we're going to go through a few things with just to get our fan base on board with us. We've talked about the very first thing off the top of the show is we're going to give you the lock game of the week. And I don't mean a game that you're kind of thinking this could be one, but when we say lock, we're sure. And we're going to track these all season and see which guy gets the most
standings of it. Yeah, let's see who gets the most right.
So
this is our next episode of the Blitz. Scotty, we'll start with you. I want to hear your lock of the week.
Well, I think lock is hard in the first week, but the game I'm going to choose this week is between Tennessee and Syracuse. I'm going to take Tennessee.
Okay.
It's a good play this week. They're at home. They're only giving up 14 to Syracuse. I know Tennessee has a lot of new people. They got 4 new starters on their offensive line, but they have the transfer in from Notre Dame. What's his name? Might be Hamilton, I think is his name. He's supposed to be really good. Tennessee's a tough place to play. Fans are going to be fired up. The only problem is it's a noon game. I still think it might start close, but I think Tennessee pulls away at the end and they cover that 14.
I like it, Zach.
I'd have to agree with you. I can't go too far against you. Tennessee, SEC, Syracuse being in the ACC, a little lesser conference, and I really don't know. I couldn't tell you who the quarterback at Syracuse is, and I don't think they can score with Tennessee. So I won't give you too much crap, Scotty. I kind of like that pick. Okay. But I'm going to go with my lock of the week is Baylor at home versus Auburn. Their entire offense, I think they return almost everybody. Everybody on the offense is a redshirt junior or more. So 4 or 5 year players there. They ended on a 6-game win streak last year. I think they're going to take this one at home. They're 2.5-point favorite against Auburn. So I'm going Baylor.
Well,
I already know where you're going, Mark. Give me the crap because you love at the SEC.
I'm going to tell you right now, that's why this is going to be a challenging week for you because every SEC team is going to win this week. So, Scotty, well done.
Thank you, Mark.
Baylor will probably end up losing, and so Auburn will go 1-0 this week. But as far as my pick goes, since I said every team in the SEC wins, my lock, I've changed it from what we were thinking earlier. I've got 2 locks, and I'm going to just throw them out there. My first one is now Kentucky beats Toledo. That's a lock. You can take that one to the bank because I read a story about this guy, Zack, the new quarterback for Kentucky.
He's like 30.
I know he's an old guy. He's been around. This is the 7th year and all that. But this guy took his $3.7 million through NIL, and he's building. He's refurbishing homes in the Lexington area that are going to be used for youth that are homeless. And he took all of that money to do this. And he said that it wasn't a publicity stunt. It was because he had grown up in a challenged environment. It's just the coolest story. If you get a chance to read it, it's worth reading. And not only has he donated this money to do these homes, but now they've raised another $1.5 million from people that are getting on board with this. And the theory is maybe this is the turning point. This is something that NIL is good for. So beside the fact that this guy, he's an old guy. He's got a lot of experience, plays well, but it is, after all, in Lexington, and at the old Kroger Field is hard to win, especially for Toledo. So that's the lock. And my other lock is, since we're on locks, I was vacillating between these, is University, it's Alabama at Birmingham, UAB. UAB beats Alabama State. And I know people probably be looking at that like, but
You really went into the cellar for that one.
Well, I'm going to tell you what I really like about him. Trent Dilfer is the coach at UAB. And then now they've got the kid from Florida, John Kitna's son, is the quarterback. Remember all the challenges they had there when he got arrested for all the stuff. He was exonerated from all this. So, but he's now the quarterback at UAB. So they've got a strong coaching team. They've got players. And I think poor old Alabama State's going to it's going to be rage out.
I can't wait to hear your thoughts on this lock.
Okay, first of all, which one is your lock of the week for the standings?
Thank you, Scotty. Give him some credit because he gave us this great sob story about the guy from Kentucky.
I want to talk about the Kentucky. Is Kentucky your true lock of the week?
Yes.
Okay.
Kentucky is
All
my
right.
true lock.
I appreciate that the guy's building houses, doing great things. That doesn't help him win any football
It
games.
doesn't make him a football
And the
player.
last time I heard somebody say Kentucky's a hard place to play was when Louisville in basketball came there to play. I don't like that pick, Mark. I usually like your picks, but I'm going to go the opposite way in that game. No offense. He's a 7-year starter, and the reason he hasn't started before is because he ain't that good. So
Wait a
it's going to
minute.
be a tough week for
So
him.
you think
He's a
Toledo's going to
7-year
win?
player.
I think they
I
might
think they're
cover
going
the
to cover
spread.
that spread. I think it's going to be close. We'll wait and see. We'll talk about it
What's
next
the
week.
spread? Do we know?
I don't know off the top of my head, but you got the computer there. You might have
Yeah.
to look it up while
I think
we
it's like 14 again
yeah.
on that one as well.
transition
I
into.
can't wait. I can't wait to see to play this back on Monday morning or next Wednesday when we do this.
Peek that spread while we get Scotty's opinion on the game he's most looking forward to watching this week. I know there's a lot of hype on this Texas-Ohio State game, top 3. I'm sure everybody's like, oh, this is the game of the week. This is what I'm really looking for. But Scotty, you got to have a game other than that you want to watch.
I do have a game other than that I want to watch, and I'm wearing the hat for it. It's Virginia Tech, South Carolina. That game's on Sunday at 3 o'clock. It's a homer pick, but I still think it's a really good game to watch. It has a lot of intriguing storylines this week. We got Shane Beamer, the son of legendary Virginia Tech football coach Frank Beamer, coming back to play his alma mater for his first time. South Carolina has a lot of hype about him this year. Virginia Tech, frankly, has not been that good, but the line's 7. In a neutral site, it seems kind of crazy to me. I would think that South Carolina would be favored by more. So people are showing some respect for Virginia Tech. They're bringing back their quarterback from last year, Kyron Jones. He should be healthy this year. They got a new offensive coordinator, a new defensive coordinator in Blacksburg this year as well. And a lot of hype around the offensive line down there so they can protect the quarterback. So I think it's going to be an interesting game to watch. We don't need to go into every detail on this, but that's going to be the game I'm most interested in watching this week for 2 reasons. One is I'm a Virginia Tech fan, but also I think it has a lot of intriguing storylines. And I've seen a lot of people online actually picking Virginia Tech against South Carolina this week, which is crazy to me. But that's my game.
It'll be a pretty good game. Go along with that, the Sellers. We've talked a lot about the Sellers kid and his potential to do well and how they ended the season. So I like it. I don't think it looks good for your Virginia Tech. I think neutral site might be the best thing for them. But I think South Carolina comes out on top, and it kind of goes along. I hate to go along with Mark and saying SEC teams are going to win, but the game I'm most looking forward to is LSU Clemson. They got 2 front runners for the Heisman in Klubnik and Nussmeier. You got the SEC, ACC. Everybody's talking about these 2 teams competing for the national title come January. I know Mark made a statement a couple weeks ago that the winner of this game does win the national championship. I don't know if I go that far, but I think there's some intriguing things here with the ACC SEC matchup.
I'm all in with you. I think, the game of the week for me is that Clemson game. And LSU, I think, wins the game. And I think LSU they're going to be at least in the Final Four. And I can see him. I think Nussmeier he's going to be high on the list for the Heisman, even though I think after this week, this is my bold prediction, is that Arch Manning is the guy that's at the top of the list for the Heisman, because even though that's not my first game that I want to see, I'm like everybody, I'm curious to see that game, especially how, Arch Manning comes in as the favorite, but or Texas as not the favorite, the underdog, even though they're number 1 rated. So, but I think Arch Manning blows up Ohio State. And so that's my bold prediction in that, but I'm curious about that game, and I'm looking forward to seeing Arch Manning at the top of that list.
That's your pick for the Heisman this year is Arch Manning?
No.
Oh,
Okay.
No,
I
it's
thought you just said
You wanna-
right there.
No, I think he's going to be the top of the list for the Heisman.
especially after this Ohio State game,
After
because
this.
you think I'm with you on that. I think Texas blows up Ohio State. I don't know why Ohio State's favored, and it might be a little fishy for the odds, but I think Texas comes in. There's too much new stuff for Ohio State, the unknown with the quarterback and everything like that. I'm with you. But since you were talking Heisman, who's your pick? Who's your dark horse? Whatever it is, who do you like to win the Heisman?
My pick for Heisman this year, I'm going back to the well. 2020 Alabama wide receiver Dante Smith. I'm going back. Ryan Williams wins the Heisman this year because Ty Simpson's going to be throwing him all day long, because Ty Simpson needs to look good. Ryan Williams is going to be the guy.
Please. please give him some credit. I
That's
know I'm going to get
interesting.
some
He
credit.
might not even be the best. He's probably not the best receiver in college football. That's going to probably be seen in the game that you guys were just talking about in the Texas Ohio State game with the Smith kid. But I like the cojones on you to make that pick because that's a bold pick, and that'd be a good one because they do not like to give it to anybody at quarterbacks lately. So we'll watch that and see how it plays out.
Can you tell us what you got now? Do you got something different?
Yeah, I'm going to go back to the game I just talked about. I think that Sellers, the kid from South Carolina, I think he's the real deal. Watched him a lot at the end of last year. He reminds me a lot of Michael Vick at the end of last year. He carries a team. He put that team on his back. I'd like to see him continue to do it this year, and I think he will. That's going to be my pick to win the Heisman this year is the Sellers kid in South Carolina. I think he's about the 5th most likely right now at the Vegas odds to win it. So it's not a crazy pick or anything, but I think he's going to get it done.
That's
He's
quarterback
fun to
heavy now,
watch.
and this year is quarterback heavy, so it'll be interesting to see what they do. But I think that we're going to see a lot of receivers come out of this group just because it is quarterback heavy. Should be fun, but I think you're right. The Smith kid in Ohio State's money.
I like your pick of the Stellars. We talked about him a few times, and if he can put together something in the middle, he'll have some good chances. I'm going to go deep into the well, but I'm not going as crazy as Mark did. I'm going to take the kid out of Notre Dame, C.J. Carr, the quarterback. He's got 2 tough tests up front. He's got Miami to open it up, and then Texas A&M. If you can get through those games and win those games for Notre Dame, I think Freeman plays a big part in that role as the head coach of Notre Dame. But if he comes out of those, their schedule is kind of a cakewalk, and he can kind of pad his stats. So that's my dark horse, and I like C.J. Carr as a guy that's going to be in that conversation and potentially win the Heisman.
Yeah, I think it's C.J. Carr. I mean, we talked about him, the grandson of Lloyd Carr, but it's an unfortunate pick because he's not going to be close in the end. So
Well, it'll be fun to see how it all plays out. Anything else today on the Blitz? Do we have anything? This is the last week we can really talk about fantasy draft before most all the
That's
fantasy
true.
drafts.
I had one last week, a new league. I started up with the dads and coaches of the baseball team I took over. I had the 10th pick. I'll tell you what, after we did the fantasy, the dynasties last year, having the 10th pick of a draft is pretty difficult.
Who'd you take?
With my first pick, 10th pick, Derrick Henry.
Okay.
I ended up all right. I got some decent players. I went with some youngsters. I've got Matt Golden on the team. I got a Tate McMillan. I got Omarion Hampton. So I went with some youngsters, Travion Henderson. But I did pick up your boy Jaden Daniels. So he's the quarterback. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, let's finish it up. Anything fantasy note wise that you think is important for our listeners out there?
Scotty,
One player didn't hear as much about, but I've been doing some reading on how well he finished last year was, I think his name is Brian Thomas. Is that his name?
The receiver in Jacksonville.
Yeah, from Jacksonville, how well he finished last year. A lot of hype around him just in the last week or two. I'm sure there's been a lot of hype for a lot of you that are listening all year, but for me, hearing more about it, and then I did some research, I think he'd be a good pick this year. I think he's going to do well. So that's somebody I might target. I haven't had any drafts. I have 3 in the next week.
yeah, it's amazing how he's high on the board now. And you know what's also amazing to me is Ashton Genty. He's coming in as a top-rated running back, and I get it. He came out of college looking incredible, but he's coming in as a top 10 running back in the NFL. I'm going to have to see it to believe it. So I would say my gut tells me that in the first 10 picks, maybe in the first 2 rounds, I don't know. He'll go first 2 rounds, but it wouldn't be from me. When I'm drafting and we've got our family draft on Monday night, I'm not taking that guy. If he's available in the 3rd, I would, but not first and second.
Yeah, I have the same hesitation as you about him. I think he's going to be really good, but to take him so high is kind of a risk. But I guess it's a risk-reward situation. But one thing is, I'm going to be excited to watch him.
Yeah.
I think he'll be fun to watch the first few weeks to see how he does. But it's a good point.
And he's going to get the ball. I mean, they're going to be run heavy. We know Pete Carroll. He runs it a lot, except for when you have to win a Super Bowl. So he's going to get 25 touches a game, and it'll be interesting to see what he does against the NFL talent. A guy I'm going with that kind of ties along with Brian Thomas is a guy I'm interested in seeing, and I think he can do well because they're starting to put some weapons there. I want to see what Trevor Lawrence does. I think this is make or break for Trevor Lawrence. He's got Hunter now and Brian Thomas, so they're young there. ETN's finally healthy. And they got Bigsby, who turned it on a little bit with ETN hurt. I think it's make or break. And the division's kind of up for grabs outside of Houston. There's not a lot of talent there. Tennessee and Indianapolis are a little down. So I think that's a guy to watch out for that could have a big year. And you can get him late. You can get a lot of value there for him. So
Exactly. All you folks watching, please tell us how we're wrong in the comments. And make sure to give us a like as well and follow us.
absolutely. That's the last preseason episode of the Blitz before the season kicks off. So thanks for watching.